Andrew Garfield is still denying any involvement with the MCU's upcoming Spider-Verse film. George Romero may be placing his final mark on the zombie genre, and we finally got a glimpse at the real Snyder Cut numbers. This is Let's Talk Movie News. Alrighty, the day today is Thursday as of filming this. It is Thursday, May 6th, 2021. And we've had some pretty interesting news this week. I'm going to piss you off right off the bat. And I purposely did this right off the bat. I am.
All right.
But, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Apparently I'm going to be pissed off in a couple of seconds. What you got for me, buddy?
It's a Monsterverse drama. Not really drama, but it's a Monsterverse bullshit, as we could possibly even say.
Okay.
We've both strongly opposed this, but there's a little bit more news to go along with it this time. So,
okay, what you got for me today, buddy?
So first of all, we just had our Falcon and the Winter Soldier review for episode 20 of our other show of Let's Talk Movies. Did you see that Loki has moved to June 11th?
I did.
It has moved up to June 11th. It's going to drop on Wednesday nights now instead of Fridays. So we get something to kick you through the week. Loki's going to kick your ass through Hump Day.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's going to drop on Wednesdays. Yeah. Yeah. Marvel put a video of Tom Hiddleston saying that Wednesdays is the new Fridays.
He can say whatever he wants. Wednesdays are never going to be the new Fridays.
No, they're not.
I wonder why they did that on Wednesday. What was the case?
I have no idea. Honestly, I wonder if it's just to be different since it's the Loki show, and Loki's so different.
Maybe.
So, I don't know.
Unless they're gonna drop something on Friday, but I've seen no plans of that happening though. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna drop on Wednesdays. So
I just realized something with the Loki TV show is that he's like gonna work for a company, right? He's working for an organization. Like,
I don't think he's working for an organization. At least I don't think.
He's against his will.
Or obviously. That might be it. It's the TVA.
Yeah, it's that they're like using him against his will to like, I guess, fix timelines or something. I don't know.
Yeah, do you know what the TVA is?
It's like time travel police, right?
I think they're
time
called
cop.
The Time Variant Authority. My understanding is they patrol the multiverse. Like they prevent anybody from changing anything in different like timelines. Like how the Ancient One showed Bruce Banner like all the different timelines, like with the Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
it's like I think it's kind of the same kind of thing. Like they patrol that. Like they basically make sure that no one can change it. Which I think it's interesting that we're getting into multiple timelines and shit like that before No Way Home comes out. Which we have a little bit of No Way Home news tonight too, and we're gonna save that for the end. We're gonna save all the Spider-Man Marvel stuff for the end.
Fair.
Which means everybody watching this is gonna skip ahead. they're scrolling right now with the little YouTube button.
No, they could timestamp it all they want.
Yeah, they can. No, but so I told you I was gonna piss you off at the right off the get-go.
Okay, piss me off, R. Kelly.
So the Monsterverse. We already saw that it was rumored that Warner Brothers and Adam Wingard were interested in doing a Son of Kong movie as a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong, which we already expressed our opinion. That I think that sounds like dog crap. I mean, like there's no. Yeah. That is not I mean, like cool, but I don't think that's a worthy follow-up to arguably the biggest in the franchise. You know what I mean?
Not at all. Not at all. That sounds like a really bad plan.
That's like following up Endgame with like Thor: The Dark World. Like that's just not like I don't know.
Well, I mean, I thought the same thing with Far From Home. I
don't think that was quite as severe though. I don't think that would be quite as severe as this. This is pretty bad. If they really go in this direction.
That is true. I do not want to see a Son of Kong.
But the question that has come up is, could Son of Kong be a prequel to the Monsterverse rather than a sequel? I have problems with this. I'm curious to see if we kind of agree on the same things. So the train of thought is that, could the King Kong that we know, the Kong that was kind of a kid in Skull Island, the Kong that just fought Godzilla in Godzilla versus Kong, could he be Son of Kong? The Kong that we know, is he the son of King Kong? And that's kind of the question. That's the idea, is could Son of Kong be a prequel to everything that we've seen so far? My answer is hell to the no. It is. Okay, so I think the current train of thought, if this is true for Warner Brothers, for Adam Wingard, is that this leaves you room for a sequel to not only a prequel to Godzilla versus Kong into the Monsterverse, but I believe it would also leave room for a King Kong OG remake. Same way that Peter Jackson remade it in 2005. Now, here's my biggest thing with that. We've gone through 4 movies now about Monarch and about humans finding out about the Titans and all of these things. If a giant gorilla was found on an island and humans took that gorilla to New York City and he climbed up the Empire State Building and was shot down by military planes, I feel like we would have heard about that by now. That would not have been left out. Like, that would be information that we know. That wouldn't make any sense. Would you agree?
Yeah, but I feel like your distraught comes from your thinking of they're gonna copy it verbatim of the OG Kong, which obviously that's not the case, because if you look at legendaries now, they've taken the like the original story of like most of the Godzilla arcs and did some liberties of it on their own. So
right.
take for instance Sarazawa's story and legendary and Toho's are completely different.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm fine with that. Like, I am perfectly fine with them. Like, I'm okay that we didn't get the OG Kong story, but I think they've paved that road already. I think they've already gone in a direction where they're doing their own take on these monsters and their origin stories. I don't want to go back and try to rewrite and just drop in the OG Carl Denham. They go to film the movie and blah, 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 and whatever else happens, and they find Kong on the island. I don't want to do that, because I feel like it just wouldn't fit. It wouldn't make sense chronologically. It wouldn't fit. It would kind of feel out of place. And I mean, even look at the OG Godzilla movie. They thought he was the only Titan, and then the Mutos came and they realized, oh shit, he's not the only Titan. And then at the end of King of the Monsters, they really realized that they weren't the only Titans. So yeah, I don't know. I think we would have known about King Kong, like the real King Kong, prior to that, because that would have been something that people remembered. It's not like they just found him on Skull Island and they kept it a secret for all those years. I mean, if they really went with the New York story and they brought him to New York and he climbed the Empire State Building and fought the planes and they did all of that stuff, I mean, like, that would be something Monarch would know. Like, I feel like that would be at like the top of Monarch's radar. You know what I mean? So the other thing that kind of bothers me, really, there's 2 things, is I feel like it cheapens the Kong that we know now. You know what I mean? And his storyline, everything we've seen about this Kong, from him growing up from the time between Skull Island and Godzilla versus Kong, everything we've seen about him with Middle Earth, or Hollow Earth, excuse me, in Godzilla versus Kong. And then the other thing that bothered me is, they went on and on about this war between Godzilla's race and Kong's race. And, we have the axe and we saw all of the bones on in Hollow Earth and things like that. Again, I feel like it wouldn't fit. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I've seen this theory floated around quite a few places on the internet. So I don't know. I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to get your thoughts on that too. I don't think that Son of Kong is the direction they need to go. I really don't.
Yeah, same.
I don't think it
I don't
makes
think so either.
it.
Because Skull Island was pretty much the introduction. That was their um history. That was their like introduction to Kong. And I don't think they would do another I don't think they would pull another Skull Island because I may be wrong, but I have this thought that I think Toho owns the rights to Kong, but Warner Bros. And Legendary owns the rights to King Kong. I think that's why they
Yes,
never I
that's
think
why.
that's why they
Yeah,
never per like, intentionally
yeah,
named him King Kong. It's
that it
because you
is.
kind of can't because it's like a
It's a rights issue. Yeah.
yeah, it's a rights issue. And I could be wrong, but I
I
think that's probably the
believe
case.
I believe Universal owns Kong. I don't owns King Kong because Universal distributed Peter Jackson's King Kong. And I mean, I don't know that those rights could have transitioned somewhere between 2005 and 2 years ago when they started
Yeah,
making Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it overall it
it
cheapens the
cheapens the
MonsterVerse. It,
franchise.
it
It cheapens
cheapens
it.
it
Yeah.
because it's like if they really go this route and they really go the OG Kong route and the Kong that we know is really the son of like the real King Kong, I
Hmm.
feel like that kind of like you're backtracking, like you're trying to fill in gaps that don't need to be filled in. Like you're changing the narrative of what you've already told at that point, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
it
I
just
don't think these plans that Legendary and Warner Bros. Are doing right now with the MonsterVerse franchise, I don't see that as a good
I don't
um
either.
decision. But then again, each what's it called? Each franchise that Godzilla's been in, there's been some questionable movies, obviously.
Oh,
So I mean,
absolutely.
it's just gonna be one of those things.
Yeah, I mean there
Uh,
were for Kong too, and they may not even do this. Like
yeah,
they might be looking at everybody who's like they're doing Son of Kong and just like be like, you guys are fucking stupid. Like you have no idea what's going
yeah,
on.
yeah,
So I
exactly.
don't know. I think if they do go in that direction, um, I don't think that I don't think it's the right move. I want them to continue it. Like I really do. Restore the MonsterVerse. I want them to go. Let's get Mecha Ghidorah in there. Let's get
Mhm.
Destroya in there. Let's get wild. Let's get sexual.
Oh my
But
god.
but let's not go too wild. Let's not go. We need more like fancy dinner night, and we need less like strippers and cocaine.
Dang. Okay. Bold
Right.
statement. Yeah. So
Um, Speaking of strippers and cocaine, uh, I
what are we
didn't
talking
even
about?
plan on talking about this, but I saw this on CNN yesterday. Um, all the crap going on with Kevin Spacey, or that's gone on with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
How he was
The
accused of
the
sexual
boy
assault,
toucher. Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
just like a whole. I don't even know the details behind what he was accused of.
Well, we talked
Um,
about it for a little bit about Kevin Spacey, about
yeah,
what
I
he
think
did.
I
Yeah.
think we touched on it in another episode like a while back. But again, I didn't even plan on talking about this, but I saw where I don't know if he's in custody. I don't know what the deal is or what his like his status is. But from what I understand in that one article I read, somebody accused him like back in the early 80s of having a sexual relationship with them when they were underage. Um, I guess before they could really consent, before they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they filed the charges under a surname, so they're anonymous still.
Hmm.
And I think a federal judge ruled that if they don't state their name, like for the record, like if they don't come forward and give their real name, I think they dropped the charges in like 10 days.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. So this is gonna hit the national news pretty soon.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's not really directly related to the movie industry, but it's it's Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, dude,
I mean,
it's such a
he's
shame with him because he's such a damn good actor. I mean, like,
he's fucked up. He's a
oh yeah, I mean, he's off. I mean, he deserves to be blacklisted from Hollywood, but
mhm.
I mean, it sucks because he really is I'm one of those people. I have a hard time, like the Marilyn Manson thing. I mean, I was never a Marilyn Manson fan, but like, I have a hard time separating the art from the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people can do that. Like I know like a lot of like hardcore Marilyn Manson fans were like, oh, but his music is still good. I'm still going to listen to his music and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but if he's a piece of garbage human being, like, no, I
Yeah,
can't,
I
I
hear you.
can't do it. But Kevin Spacey, man, I mean, Francis Underwood and House of Cards, and I haven't finished House of Cards. I've watched the first one or two seasons, but that show is amazing. He's
Yeah,
amazing in
it's
that show.
he is pretty good in it,
He's a
but I
great
mean,
actor, man.
he
John
is
Doe. I think my favorite Kevin Spacey role is John Doe in Seven.
John Doe. Oh yeah, he was
Dude,
pretty
he
scary.
plays
I'm pretty
a
sure he.
psychopath in
I
that
think that
movie.
was just his personality. Let's be honest.
He was playing himself in Seven.
Yeah, just let's be honest about that.
I don't know.
But
I
whenever
thought that was interesting.
but whenever I was whenever the whole Kevin Spacey thing happened and like we found out that he was like being kicked out of House of Cards, they were thinking about like who to replace him as.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, man, like if something like that happens and the guy gets kicked out, the actor, um, just replace him, man. It's not one of those. It's not like Chadwick Boseman where it's like you can't replace him because that's seriously you can't replace him.
I
But
understand that.
with the situation like this, replace him. And you know who I thought of
I think they
immediately?
killed him off.
They
Because Julie and I were talking about that because I was telling her
Mhm.
she loves House of Cards. I think she's further than I am. I honestly I watched it for a while, but I kind of got sick of it. It
Yeah,
was
I got you.
good. It's good, but it's one of those shows where like it's so heavy just all the time that it's kind of like okay. And it was during the whole Trump thing, and all it was like November when we were watching it. I was like, I can't watch this right now. Like this is like too. I can't do it.
Yeah, I got you. But whenever he got kicked out or killed off, I was hoping they would at least replace him because
Yeah.
like there's an actor that was in talks. What's his name? Played Ultron. James Spader.
Mm.
Yeah, from the
I
Blacklist.
could see that. I could
I would
definitely see
love to
that.
have seen him.
He could pull off that
Absolutely amazing.
southern drawl.
Yeah,
He could do that. Yeah,
and if any of you guys have seen the Blacklist, you could tell me you guys would agree with me that he could definitely
for sure.
personify that character.
I think
So
I would agree with that. Yeah.
mhm,
If I don't know if you had to pick somebody, that'd be a good one. That'd be a
it
good one
would.
to pick. Um, so I wanted to touch on this too because you know I'm a huge zombie fan. I
Mhm.
always have been a huge zombie fan ever since I was a kid. Playing Resident Evil with my dad, watching the Resident Evil movies. I mean, I think I saw every single Resident Evil uh, of the Paul W.S. Anderson franchise, which I know gets a lot of hate, but I think I saw every single one in the movie theater except for the first one. Um, but George Romero is the father of the zombie genre.
Mhm.
He is, I mean, he literally created the genre basically. When Night of the Living Dead came out in 1968, and he continued that with Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. And really, for me, I own the original trilogy. Well, I don't own Dawn. Dawn is incredibly hard to find. I own Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead, which is a fantastic remake. But the original Dawn of the Dead, I think it's in a vault, or it's there was just a UK release of that movie, and
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I was like, finally, I can get a copy of Dawn of the Dead. It was like $600 because it's like a whole fancy 8-disc collector's edition box set. I was like, no. I was like, I want to own a copy, but I'm not going to pay $600 for it. So it's incredibly hard to find. But George Romero, unfortunately, he passed in 2017. But he did Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead before he did pass. And I think I haven't even seen the three of them all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces on TV or on YouTube or whatever. But they're B movie-ish. I mean, to be completely honest with you, they are.
B movie ish.
They're low budget. Um, it is what it is.
Oh,
I mean,
they're like straight to DVD movies.
yeah, it's like it's a CGI fest, just gore. The story is kind of crappy.
Mhm.
And the original three weren't like that. The original three were so heavy on practical effects and on it was just all of the zombie tropes and all of the zombie um aspects were created in those 3 movies. They were amazing. But I want to share this article. Let me get this pulled up here, because George Romero's final stamp on the zombie genre is going to come to light. It's going to happen. So
Twilight of the Dead.
I saw this on Bloody Disgusting. Twilight of the Dead, which is the final script that George Romero ever wrote before he passed away, is getting a chance of coming to life. So obviously this article, the Hollywood Reporter originally reported on this, but his wife Suzanne has been working with screenwriters on the script, and they're seeking meetings with directors. They're looking into who's going to actually direct the project. She said the story is set in a decimated world. Life has all but disappeared, but there still may be hope for humanity now. My hope with this, just off of the, let me back up. Obviously, Night of the Living Dead, you have night, you have day, or dawn, you have day. Land survival, land diary survival, and then this is Twilight. So we've kind of gone through the whole day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think in his universe, this, because it's called Twilight of the Dead, hopefully this will be the cap. This will be it. I will say, if they're having meetings with directors,
It's soon to be in production.
Right. They better pick the right director, because I mean, dude, that's big shoes to fill. I mean, you're trying to finish George Romero's freaking last zombie movie. Like, that's a big deal. So
who do you like, off the top of your head, who do you think would be a good fit for that?
We'll get there in a second, because I have some interesting. Could be. I wouldn't. Hell, dude, shit. I wouldn't be against it. I would not be against it.
No, Quentin Tarantino has his own saga that he wants to finish. You know about that, right?
No.
Like, he said 10 movies and then he's done.
Oh yeah. I knew he had a number. A number that he wanted to do. He's real strange in a weird way. I like him a lot. I love his movie. He's strange.
Quentin Tarantino's a great man. He's one of my favorite directors.
Suzanne Romero had this to say about Twilight of the Dead. She said, I gave him my full blessing as long as I could be there every step of the way for it to remain true to George's vision. We had a solid treatment and the beginning of the script. I can 100% say that George would be incredibly happy to see this continue. He wanted this to be his final stamp on the zombie genre. And of course, she's talking about Paolo Zalotti, who I believe wants to bring it to life. He wrote the treatment. And, obviously, she even says it's no secret that Diary and Survival were not the way he envisioned the series ending, and George knew it very well. Twilight of the Dead was his goodbye to the genre, and he wanted to go out with a powerful film. And, of course, there's a shot of Land of the Dead. I mean, you can see it's, it's kind of B-movie-ish.
That's a George Romero film right there.
Yeah.
When you talk about George, because obviously I'm not a zombie fanatic as you, but whenever you talk about George Romero, like, I expect like some really good.
You expect that original trilogy, man.
Yeah, but
that original trilogy was incredible.
So I guess those are considered like spinoffs, pretty much.
I don't even know if I'd consider them spinoffs. I don't understand why, if the first 3 were so true to practical effects and to originality and to like a serious plot line, as serious as you can be with, I know there were comedic elements in there, and they were wild and crazy, especially Day of the Dead. But I'm not sure why the last 3 were so cheesy. I mean, it was 2005 and 2007 and 2009, so it was a part of that 2000s. Everything in the early 2000s was kind of cheesy, I mean, it just was. That was the world we lived in. But you asked me about what director I would tap to do it. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I would tap Zack Snyder.
Really?
Fuck yeah, I would tap him. Pardon my language, but yeah, I would tap Zack Snyder
Okay.
because on
Oh,
it to
just
be
because of his
well,
thing with Dawn of the Dead?
yes, I really loved what he did with the Dawn of the Dead remake. And again, you could look at that movie and say, well, that's got the same kind of cheesy 2000. I mean, that came out in 2004, a year
Mm-hmm.
before Land of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you could say, well, yeah, but that's got the same cheesiness and 2000s atmosphere that, these did. And while
Dawn of
that's
the Dead
true,
is Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is whenever they're stuck in the mall, right?
yeah, which is what the original Dawn was. He remade his original film.
I
George
liked
Romero's
it.
original film. I love it. It's one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite movie remakes. I mean, like I watch
Mm-hmm.
it all the time. Not all the time, but I mean, probably at least a couple times a year, maybe I watch it. It's fun. I mean, it's a fun ass zombie movie. Uh, I would tap him for that reason, but also even look at what he did with the Snyderverse. Zack Snyder's movies are very they have a dark grittiness to them, and I think with the right treatment, if they really, if George Romero's wife is serious in that this is going to be his final stamp, and this is going to be the next Night of the Living Dead or the next Dawn or the next Day of the Living Dead, I mean, like it would have to be dark and gritty. I feel like it has to take itself seriously while still containing all the same zombie tropes about apocalypse and end of the world and panic and all that stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's face it, zombie movies are fun. They're serious, they're scary, they're bloody, they're gory, they're nasty, but they're fun. It's fun. I mean, like it's fun to see what like it's a scenario thing, and we've talked about this before, and I want to do an episode on this, on zombie movies, because it's fun to imagine, just like in The Walking Dead or in Resident Evil, it's fun to imagine, like, what would you do? What would you do in that scenario? Um, I mean, you've seen TV shows about it, people prepping for the zombie apocalypse. I think it's going to happen, whatever. I don't think it's going to happen. But, it's a fun scenario thing. Most movies, you can't really put yourself in those shoes, but almost everybody in zombie apocalypse films, you can put yourself in their shoes. You can be like, what would I do? You know what I mean? If this was really happening, what the hell would I do? Where would I go? What would I use as a weapon? Who would I choose to find? Um,
Bro, if I was in this, if I every time I do that, I'm always whenever I watch those zombie movies, I'm always like, if I was in that position, honestly, I'd die like wholeheartedly. Don't know what I'm doing, brain dead, and like I couldn't imagine what I would be doing in that.
I don't know. It's fun. I think I've always loved the zombie genre because it actually kind of scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think out of any, I mean, I love slashers. I love, paranormal horror movies, but I think out of any horror genre, the zombie one scares me, especially in times we're living in right now in pandemic world, because
Yeah.
I mean, like it's the most, I don't know if I'd even say it's the most realistic, but you can get away from a slasher. You can run from Leatherface. You can run from Michael Myers. You can run
Mm-hmm.
from, you can run from somebody who's waiting outside your door. You can't run from that. Like that, the zombie apocalypse, man, you can't run. Like you have to find a way. And there's so many different scenarios and so many different ways it could play out. I think that's why I've always loved it so much, and I think that's always why it's appealed to me. Also Resident Evil. I mean, Resident Evil had a big part of it, to be completely honest. I mean, it did,
Mm-hmm.
because I
You
grew
just
up with
you
Resident Evil.
just you just
But
love impending doom.
I do though. I don't. It's weird. Like I know it's weird. I mean, I could be a complete weirdo, but like there's a feeling I get when I watch 28 Days Later or Zack Snyder's Dawn of the
Mm-hmm.
Dead, or any of those original zombie films. It's just this like impending, like, holy crap! Like everything I know is about to stop, and that's scary. Like I find that scary, and it's almost intriguing because I find that scary.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So kind of returning. I mean, I hope that Twilight of the Dead is everything that it should be, and I hope they do George Romero justice in telling that story. I'm curious to see what his script and what his story is, you know?
Hmm. I'm glad that they're actually attempting to make the movie instead of, sometimes, so they just leak the script and they just like, here, like this movie's never gonna be made, but you at least get to read the script. I'm
Yeah.
glad they didn't do that because I feel like that'd be such a nut kicker. You know what I
What,
mean?
releasing the script, you mean?
Releasing the script but not making the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
I don't know. He's just such an iconic director and such an iconic like person in motion picture history, you know.
I
I
agree. Definitely one of the filmmakers Hall of Fame in my
oh,
book.
absolutely. And we just talked about this with the upcoming Resident Evil reboot. I sincerely hope, and I know there will be some CGI in there. Like I know that, but I seriously hope that they go practical and they don't do CGI, because I'm gonna be completely honest, zombie CGI sucks. It sucks. It really
I mean,
does.
yeah, I could see where you're
I
coming
mean,
from.
look at, do you remember like even in early The Walking Dead, like in early Walking Dead episodes, some of the splatter, like when they shoot a zombie, some of the splatter would be CGI. And like you
Yeah.
can tell, like you can just tell, like even when Michonne kills the governor's daughter, like that was CGI. And you can tell Herschel's head getting cut off. You can just tell when it's CGI and when it's actually a
Well,
real practical effect.
that you gotta understand that's also TV CGI, which is never the
That's
best.
fair.
So I'm sure if it was made in the movie, it'd be fine. But then when you think of movie CGI with zombies, you look at World War Z, and that was pretty it was pretty tacky. Storyline, phenomenal, great.
I
But
adore the storyline of. I think the storyline of World War Z is sensational. It's great,
yeah,
but
it's
the
literally
CGI zombies, it like it rips me right out of it.
mhm.
I just can't. It's like, why? Like why? Like you, why? You
But
know?
then again, you kind of can't practical effect a horde like that.
Right. And I get that. Like, you know, when you see all of them running and it's chaos and the camera's moving quickly, I get it. Like CGI that's fine. But, you know, when you're showing a close up of one of the zombies' faces, or even in the hallway scene when Brad Pitt's like walking down the hallway after he's infected himself with
Hmm.
whatever disease that was, like that didn't need to be CGI. Like you could get a group of 40 people together and put them in makeup. I mean, look what The Walking Dead does. And they're a TV show. Like
Hmm.
you could do it. So I don't know. Well, that's the other question: is if you're going to do that, who's going to do the effects? I mean, it would have to be Tom Savini or Greg Nicotero. It would have to be.
Holy hell, you had names ready to go.
Yeah.
I had to think.
I mean, hell,
Okay.
Tom Savini, he's older, but he could do it. Greg
Hmm.
Nicotero, I mean, Greg Nicotero learned from that. He's a big Romero fan too. He's a big zombie fan in general. I mean,
I think this would
hell, get
be.
the two of them together, tag
Do
team it,
you?
man.
Yeah. Do you realize like how big this zombie
Right?
movie could be? Like in order to I don't know, pay homage to George Romero, like bring in all of these people that idolize
Absolutely,
this man
man.
to make the movie. Like I could totally
Absolutely.
see that. If I like moving on, like for future reference, like whenever we start hearing more about this movie, like if I don't hear like names that of directors and special effects people that are not that don't idolize or know what who George Romero is, like I'm gonna be turned off by it. Like if I see them coming in, I'm like, okay, this is definitely gonna be a movie to keep watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think people turn their like even some horror fans, they turn their nose up at zombie movies. Dude, like if they got,
I know what you mean.
they do though. And I'm sorry, because it's because there's so many fan films and there's so many
Cheesy
zombie
ones,
films.
yeah.
There's so many terrible ones, which
Hmm.
they're even fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I was in middle school, I'm so weird. I'm weird as fuck. I know I am. When I was in middle school, I used to go on YouTube and watch like zombie fan films. Like that was like I just did that. Like that was just something I thought was fun.
Yeah.
And I still every now and then I'll still do it just because it's fun. Um, but
I think because whenever I think of like a cheesy like zombie flick, there's one that I keep thinking of that reminds me of it. What's it called? Z Nation. Have you seen that?
It's a show. I
Yeah,
actually I want to watch that all the way through. I haven't actually gotten to watch it
it's
all the way, but
it's a choice. It no,
it's a
no, I didn't
choice.
I didn't mean it like that, but it's it's definitely a zombie movie, but they're definitely like doing a greater scope of it. Like
Yeah.
they're expanding on it immensely. And I saw the series. I won't spoil anything, but
Have you watched it like all the way?
yeah, shout out to Anthony and
Wow.
Audra. They saw it. They watch it. They are
You're
like I'm
ahead of
like a
me.
yeah, they saw it, and I every time I'd come home I'd just sneak a peek.
Mm.
And yeah, honestly it looks pretty good.
I
If
have
I'm
a whole
thinking
zombie section down here in my movie collection.
I'm actually really surprised you haven't seen Z Nation, to be honest.
I've seen some of it. I've seen a couple of seasons, but it's on my list of stuff I want to go back and rewatch because I haven't. I mean, it's been forever. I'm really excited about The Last of Us, that they're doing an HBO adaptation of The Last of
Oh
Us.
yeah, that.
I'm really, really excited. I really enjoyed that game. It was
Okay.
different. It was a different take on it. It was something different. And I mean, obviously, again, George Romero, man, the lore, he created the lore of you get bit, you get infected, you turn into one. I mean, that was him. He
Mm-hmm.
did that. Zombies were more of a voodoo-esque kind of thing. It was never rotting flesh and disease and infection and pandemic. It wasn't about that. And George Romero made it about that. I mean, that you got to credit him with that. But what Neil Druckmann and the creators and writers of The Last of Us did was so different and so creative. It was cool. I loved it. So I'm really excited to see how they adapt that too.
Yeah, and you definitely need to see Z Nation.
I will. I'm
I'm not gonna lie.
maybe even this summer.
Now that it's in my head, like you have to see it. I'm interested to see what you think of it as a George Romero fanatic or fan. I don't mean to
Yeah.
use fanatic as
Well,
derogatory, but
and I can appreciate zombie movies that don't stick to his same thing, you know.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, I like what he did. I genuinely enjoy what he created because he really did. I mean, not only his films, but again, the lore of, it's a virus and you get bit and you get sick and then you die and then you come back and then it infects people, and that whole pandemic global scale kind of thing was started by George, man. He was the founder. He was what did that. And even going back to what you just said, I hope that they realize how big of a movie this could be, because it could kind of be a big deal.
Yeah, it
It
could.
really could. If you
This
tap the right director and you get the right people involved, especially since his wife is so down for it and so like, please, like, make his vision, like, finish this
mm-hmm.
for him. It could be really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I hope that Twilight of the Dead is cool. It's a dope name too. I think it's the coolest name other than the original three. I
Yeah,
dig it.
but every time you kept saying Twilight, I kept thinking of like New Moon and
Oh, oh my
all that
god.
bullshit. Yeah, that's what
Suzanne Collins.
I keep thinking of Robert Pattinson and all that shit.
Say what I am. Vampire. That sounds like garbage, Miguel.
I'm sorry, guys. I found a soundboard,
Miguel,
and
he's on a kick of wanting a soundboard, man.
yeah, pretty soon, guys, we're gonna have a soundboard in this thing, and
My
it's gonna
coaster
annoy the
keeps
fuck out of
sticking.
you.
It's fine. We already annoy him.
Yeah,
We exist. This show is nothing but annoying people.
fair.
So speaking of Zack Snyder, uh, not only would I like him to direct the next or the final George Romero zombie film, but I
Mhm.
want him to continue the Snyderverse too. I want Warner Brothers to give him the chance to do that. I'm
We
hyped.
really, yeah.
Huh?
Is it what's going on with the Snyderverse now? Is there any
Okay.
news?
Why'd you roll your eyes?
No, I didn't want to get too delved into the Snyderverse because I didn't want to like go on another rant. Because I
I
mean, I'm
know.
just as passionate about it as you are.
It's like that diarrhea after you eat something bad, man. It just keeps coming back.
What?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. We're gonna ignore what I just said.
Okay.
So back in March, when AT&T held their analyst investor day, whatever it was called, they did not release the numbers for the Snyder cut. And I genuinely believe that Warner Brothers is trying
intentionally.
so hard to bury the Snyderverse and to just forget, like push it out of their mind, the whole Zack Snyder thing, that they will not release the numbers because they don't want people to know how successful it was.
Yes. And I saw news that when you looked up this Zack Snyder cut, that the Rotten Tomato score on it was actually the one from the Josh Whedon one. I think I saw something
Really?
about that. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, don't get me started on it, man.
Pissing
Because
me
I swear,
off, man.
yeah,
You know,
it's
I need
a
more water.
it's literally a moment right there. Because every time I keep thinking of the Snyderverse, it's like, why is Warner Bros. Continuously trying to like intentionally sabotage the success of it?
Again, it's like they have a winning lottery ticket.
Mm.
And they crumple it up, they rip it up, and they throw it in the garbage can and throw a match in to go buy a $2 scratch off. Like that's what it feels like they're doing. You have the key. You are like, your entire business model is set on trying to be like Marvel and trying to appeal to Marvel's fans and like get on your knees for Marvel's fans. And you are blowing that. Like, after
what's even worse is, I'm sorry, but what's even worse is
fine.
that even the actors of the
No,
Justice League
it's
and the DC, like,
everybody.
they want to go.
It's
Like
everybody.
Henry Cavill was in talks to like play either Hercules or Captain Britain in the MCU, and it's like, that sounds like shit, but honestly, I'd go for it.
No, and you
Because
know what? I kind of hope that Disney picks up Henry Cavill and
he's a pretty good actor.
I would love to see them give a character to Zack Snyder.
What?
Let Zack Snyder direct something.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Give a
That's
dude.
weird.
Give the Punisher or Ghost Rider to Zack Snyder. Something dark, something gritty, something that you can kind of. And I know it's Disney; they're not going to go as dark as the Snyder. I mean, there's not going to be like F-bombs galore or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
But they could do it. Give it to Zack Snyder, man. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. And again, if all of those people that were threatening the Warner executives, you guys suck. Like, don't do that. Like, that is not what we're doing. That's not the way. If you want to restore to the Snyderverse, that ain't the way. I don't even mean this poorly on one person or any certain group of people. I think that they are making such a crappy decision by doing what they're doing. And I didn't even mean this to be another rant. But you know, given the but we're here, aren't we?
Yeah, we're here.
Given the whole restore the Snyderverse movement, you know, I think they're hiding how much of a success this was. And it's not even just Warner Media, it's AT&T too, because AT&T owns all of that. But Samba TV, which is a television analyst application, they decided to do the right thing and publish their Snyder Cut numbers. They decided to do it. I saw this on geekositymagazine.com, which is Mikey Sutton's website, his magazine. He's an industry insider. He has a lot of inside scoops on different things. So here are the statistics that I found that Samba TV released for Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was watched in 3.7 million households in the first 40 days.
Damn.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. For 40 days, that's a lot. It beat every other movie on HBO Max other than Wonder Woman 1984. Now, think about this. Wonder
Did it?
Woman,
I could
yeah,
have sworn Godzilla surpassed it.
It may have now. I'm not sure when this article was published.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty recent, but Godzilla may have passed it.
And even Mortal Kombat is kind of surpassing it.
I don't know if Mortal Kombat did.
I don't know. We'll have to double check the numbers on that.
Yeah, we'll have to look.
HBO Max is going to be like,
it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, like it's gonna rise up to the Netflix level, and
I think Disney Plus and HBO Max are going to surpass Netflix very soon, if
probably
they haven't already.
so.
I think honestly, I think they might have already. And again, when Stranger Things comes back, which obviously we know Stranger Things is coming back soon. We just had teaser trailer drop and all that stuff going on. Their accounts are becoming active again. Stranger Things is going to come back, and again, that's going to bring more revenue and things like that. All the Spider-Man films from Sony, Spider-Man and Venom, we just saw that those properties are going to resort back to, or not resort back, but they're going to be shared with Netflix. So the Maguire trilogy, both of Andrew Garfield's films, Tom Holland Spider-Man films, the Venom films, they're going to be on Netflix, I believe in 2023, 22 or 23.
Yeah, but that's sometimes down the line, man. Like that's
right.
Like a lot can happen. A lot can happen.
They can grow a lot in a year and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, so other than Godzilla versus Kong, most likely, and Wonder Woman 1984, it beat everything else on HBO Max. Now, Godzilla versus Kong, I think, has a wider audience. There were more people interested in Godzilla versus Kong than there were in the Snyderverse.
Big
Wonder
lizard,
Woman,
big monkey.
Right?
Yeah, that's all that mattered.
Ape versus Monster, which I swear we're gonna do a trailer reaction for. Have you seen that?
I need to see it.
Have you seen what it is though, that it exists?
It's so how can I put this lightly?
We're going off track right now.
I know, but that's not the first time they've done something like this.
I purposely didn't watch the trailer because I want us to do a reaction, because I want to roast the crap out of it while we're on here.
It's interesting because like it's not the first time they've done it. There's been plenty of like off-brand movies like that, and they're fine in their own rights, but they are terrible. CGI is trash.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
we should do a commentary on this like the first time we watch it, just because like I kind of want to watch it just because I feel like we would roast this thing. It'd be funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty funny.
I agree. And honestly, shameful enough as it is, I was such a big Monster fan back then that I would watch them. I would go to Blockbuster, find them, and want to watch them because I was just so into big monster movies.
Right.
Even though they sucked dick.
Yeah.
So
anyways, if you look at Wonder Woman 1984, that came out at Christmas time. Everybody was home. Everybody was off. Yeah. Plus, the COVID numbers were still really bad, so everybody was at home anyways. So factor in everybody was at home, not busy to watch Wonder Woman 1984. The Snyderverse was a little bit different. We were in a little bit of a better place with COVID. People were back at work. People were back at school. And it's also it was a rated R kind of thing. So kids probably, obviously kids watched it, but little kids probably weren't watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I don't know. Why do you think that they're still trying to bury the numbers just because they want to push their story and their universe?
They want to give definitive reasons as to why they should move on with their story instead of the Zack Snyder. Because if the numbers don't lie, like if the Zack Snyder Justice League is actually a top-hitting movie over all of the other ones that they've made, then obviously they're going to be pushed to continue the Snyderverse. But if they keep trying to suppress these numbers down, it's just going to help their
Yeah.
agenda with just continue on with the shitty story that they have. Granted, I would love to see Blue Beetle. I'd love to see a live action Blue Beetle, but it's just not the time to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, have you seen? Again, I didn't even plan on talking about this, but they're officially searching for a black Superman with a black director. Like, they are like that. I believe that was on the Hollywood Reporter as well. They're doing that. Like, they're looking to reboot Superman with a black actor and a black
Look,
director.
guys, I didn't have that. I didn't have that reaction because of that, but it's just that I don't know. It's again, granted, I'm hype about it. Would love Michael B. Jordan to do it. Shout out Michael B. Jordan.
He
if can
won't.
play
He already
Superman.
said he won't.
Oh fuck! Why?
He was like, I'm all for it. That's awesome. But he was like, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. But god damn it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. DC, what the fuck?
Okay, here's the thing. I think that is awesome. Do it. Do it. Please do it. Like, especially after everything we've been through, Black Lives Matter. Do it. That is freaking awesome. But Henry Cavill is so good. You are trying to push this multiverse thing. You're already going to have a different You're going to have the Matt Reeves Batman. You're going to have the multiverse happening with the Flash, where you're bringing back the Tim Burton universe plus Ben Affleck's Batman. So you're going to have 3 different Batmans. Why can't you have 2 Supermans? And again, are they really not bringing back Henry Cavill and doing a Man of Steel 2 or incorporating him in Shazam or in something like that? Why? Because you're trying to bury Zack Snyder's universe? Because you don't want to continue what Zack Snyder built? You know?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't. Even if you don't want to continue what Zack Snyder did, you can have a black Superman, and you can have Henry Cavill playing Superman at the same time. If you're going to do the multiverse thing, do the multiverse thing. And I would say the same thing to Marvel. They can go back and do Spider-Man 4. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 4 would have turned 10 years old today.
I saw those memes.
It would have. But like, I don't know.
It was a tweet from Sony Pictures saying releasing Spider-Man 4 on May 6, 2013 or 14, right? Yo, I swear those are fucking hilarious. And it's sad, but I mean, if it's done, it's done. Whatever is done is done. I don't think they should make a Spider-Man 4. The deed is done. Just finish the story with No Way Home. Just finish it. But there shouldn't be another one. I'm sorry. Like, what is the end goal with the movies and their vision to do that? And my question is, what is Warner Bros.'s goal with all of these other films? Because again, for you to say that they're on a winning lottery ticket, what's your goal other than just to generate revenue and just generate like you said, it's a business. Like, you want to get as much money as you can. Obviously, these movies right here that they're listing out generate some revenue. Black Superman, fantastic. Guess what? You're gonna get a lot of people over there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna kick butt.
But are you helping your franchise with it and propelling the story that's already been solidified? Because in my opinion, without the Zack Snyder movies, the DCEU is everywhere. There's no
real continuity to it.
There's no continuity, which is fine. Okay, granted, it's fine. We don't have to have
really.
continuity.
Not really.
No, look, we don't have to have continuity. Yes, it is the era of continuity movies, but
it is.
But like, if you're going to initially attempt it and just kick the fucking bucket of it, what are you doing? It just goes to show that the head of Warner Bros., they really honestly don't know what they're doing. They said, yeah, well, we got a plan and everything. And then after that interview, they were like, okay, guys, we need a plan. We
Yeah.
don't know what we're doing. So
I don't know. I'm so hype about a black Superman, and I think that idea is so cool.
Mhm.
But again, I feel bad for Henry Cavill because I think Henry Cavill genuinely enjoyed playing that role, and I think he likes playing Superman. I think he's my favorite Superman, and
He's a he's a
I was
he's a
never
total
a
weeb.
big I was never a Superman guy. Like I never really
Yeah.
cared about Superman.
Mhm.
Even as a kid, like he was never I just didn't care.
I started
And
liking
I
Superman.
genuinely liked his movies. I really
Yeah,
did.
I started liking Superman fairly recently because they started making comics and the comics and the New 52 and all that other
Yeah.
reboots were starting to make him more of a complex character instead of like a purely ex machina um, character in all these shows. And whenever Henry Cavill, fun fact, when Henry Cavill auditioned for Superman, and like he was accepted, or and they chose him, and they gave him the call. He said that he almost missed the opportunity to be Superman because he missed the call of the director because he was playing World of Warcraft. That's a fucking that's a nerd right there.
That's awesome.
And that just goes to show how much everyone fucking loves Henry Cavill. Like he's perfect for the role. And
Dude,
I
I
mean
think he's
there
perfect.
I don't think there's any role I don't think there's are there rumors of him like getting kicked out, writing him off and stuff? Or they
Uh
just have no set plans? Because you see how with the MCU, not only are the movies like in the storylines are important, but the actors' contracts are just as much in the spotlight
oh yeah.
as anything. Like the reason why everyone anticipated, we all knew Robert Downey Jr. was going to die in Endgame. We all knew because of the contract that was signed with RDJ. Like they all knew like his contract was up, and
Well, they
then
renewed everybody else's contract except for
except for
the
his.
people that were
So
gonna
it's like,
die,
yeah.
you know?
So that was the case. Like you knew exactly what was going to happen. The thing is with DC, like I don't know Henry Cavill's contract with Warner Bros. Like I don't know what their game plan is.
I wonder
And
if
that's the
they
thing.
signed for multiple movies or if they just signed for one. Like if do they
I
just
think
sign for one film for
mm,
each film they do? Because I think like RDJ or Scarlett Johansson or Chris Evans or somebody like that, Chris Pratt, I think they signed for multiple films at a time.
mm-hmm.
You know, I think Tom Holland's contract for Spider-Man was for 3 or 4 films because you had Civil War. He's in 5.
No, his contract was signed for 3 movies, obviously, and a couple of cameos. Obviously, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Yeah.
So that's how their contracts work. And you could tell, for me, it could be maybe just for me, but for some people out there, like they can tell how the story's going to go based on these contracts. Like take a look for Drax. Here's a hot take on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Drax is
Mm-hmm.
going to die because Dave Bautista's contract is ending on that one.
I think he's gonna die in Thor: Love and Thunder. I do,
Either one.
especially after what we reported. Not we didn't really
We
originally
didn't
report that. We just talked
we didn't
about it.
report jack
We
shit.
didn't
Yeah,
report shit,
yeah.
but we talked about it. With Gore the God Butcher. It
Mhm.
was a rumor. Again, we're not spreading. I'm not pushing the rumor forward. I'm just saying we were talking about it. Um, there was a rumor that Drax is supposed to die in Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know, but I didn't see.
Could
You
be the
knew that.
case.
I didn't even know that about his contract, about Dave Bautista's contract.
Mhm.
So
And plus, like I already knew, like since he's in talks of switch going to DC and wanting to do Bane, but
you're going the wrong way, friend.
I know, right?
Put it in
I
reverse,
know.
Terry.
Do you know what's awful is that I know why he did it is because obviously with the whole James Gunn thing, he was really upset, and DC was actually getting some steam.
The James Gunn thing.
Yeah, James Gunn. Whenever
Oh,
they blacklisted him for something he said on Twitter.
yeah, but that was. I
Yeah,
think
but
that's been
when he
cleared
was
up now, though.
yeah, that's what's fucking hilarious is that Dave Bautista was so mad with Marvel that I think his contract is just gonna phase out.
Oh,
And
they're not gonna
yeah,
renew him.
yeah. And now that
Mm,
James Gunn is coming back, Dave Bautista's like, well, fuck, I jumped off the ship a little too early.
I don't know.
I
Well,
could be
dude, James
wrong. I
Gunn is
could be
smart because
wrong. I'm
James
just
Gunn's playing
throwing.
both sides. He's got the
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. He's got
Mhm.
Guardians. I mean, dude. James, think about this. James Gunn has two of the most successful IPs for DC and Marvel right now.
Mhm.
He's
Yep.
got like arguably two of the most successful parts of both sides of the coin.
We'll have to see with Suicide Squad because we can't know for sure if
We
it's
can't
a
know
good
for
movie.
sure.
Yeah.
I think it looks baller though.
Mhm.
It looks really, really good.
I think if depending on the success of Suicide Squad, I think James Gunn is going to be one of the most top-notch directors of
He's
the
gonna be a
decade.
sought-out director, man, and I think
Mhm.
he's already a sought-out director. He's already great, but I think after if he crushes Guardians 3 and the Suicide Squad,
Yeah,
he is gonna be a sought-after dude, man.
he is.
But
We veered off hard.
we did all of that to say, I just do a Black Superman, do Blue Beetle, do Matt Reeves Batman, do Suicide Squad, do all of this stuff. But you gotta, if you want to compete with Marvel, it's gotta tie in somehow. There has to be
Mhm.
some kind of continuity, you know.
And
I
honestly,
don't. It
Warner
just
Bros is
doesn't.
doing Warner Bros is doing fine. Not only the DCEU, the DCU is like it's trying to pick up its weight, but Warner Bros as a whole, it's doing fine. Like look at all the movies they just dropped, and they're
Oh yeah,
generating a lot of revenue. Like
that's part of why I think they
I
don't
don't know
really
why
care
they're
because
not.
they're fine. They're fine without the DCU.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why they're not really like taking all this stuff seriously because they're making enough money as is. But it's like you're making enough. You're making a hell of a lot of money. Why not just throw these extra projects out here? Like just why
Why
not
not make
continue
more?
it? Yeah, like why not? Why stick with one line?
Yeah, I just
Why not just jump to another one? You got the money. You got this resource. Let's. I'm gonna keep it a buck 50. You got the resources to do like these two storylines for sure.
right.
So just go ahead, drop that bang, drop that band, just go for it. I don't know why you ain't, because obviously
Yeah.
Warner Bros. It's a long standing studio. Like they
Oh
have the means
yeah,
and resources, and I'll
it's a
say that
great
one
studio.
more time.
I just, it's nothing personal. I just wholeheartedly disagree with what they're doing with this universe, man.
Mhm.
And I'm rooting. It's not that I'm not rooting for them. Like I'm rooting for Matt Reeves' Batman to be great. I am rooting for this Black Superman film to be great. I am rooting for Blue Beetle. I want it to be good. I just, from what we've heard, it really feels like they're just not even trying. Like they're just like,
Yeah,
oh, we're gonna go this way. Never
yeah,
mind. Bye.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I don't know. But let's talk about Marvel because we have a whole lot of Marvel news. Um, and this is kind of the second half of our show, is all Marvel. So Marvel put out their recent Phase 4 and 5, their little trailer, welcome back to the movies type thing. And there were a lot of the same titles we've seen: Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness. But we got release dates for a couple other things. Thor Love and Thunder officially releases on May 6th, 2022. The new name, the official title for Captain Marvel 2 is titled The Marvels, which is going to release on, what is it, November 11th, 2022. So next year. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will officially release on February 17th, 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on May 5th of the same year. And then the one that got me, man, Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Much love.
Much love. Absolutely, man. I think that's a perfect title. Perfect title.
Mhm.
His
I'm
legacy is
curious to
going to live
see.
on forever, man.
They said they're not gonna replace him. They're not gonna recast him. And this movie is primarily focusing on the inner workings of Wakanda, and I'm really interested to see how that works. Because I mean, it's just another world you're opening, pretty much.
Oh, I just stabbed myself with my damn pen. Ow.
Boy, remove all sharp objects from your fucking office. I swear to God, you're gonna hurt yourself or something. Don't choke in that water either.
I dropped it and I went to grab it and I stabbed myself with it, but I'm fine.
But do you agree that it's just another world building thing?
Yes, but I think it's gonna be Shuri though. I really do. I think she is gonna be the new Black Panther.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're gonna follow the comic book and do that.
I'm not saying that they're not gonna replace Black Panther. They have to replace Black Panther, but they're not gonna replace T'Challa. That's what I mean.
Yes,
like
they won't replace T'Challa.
They're gonna give
as they shouldn't.
T'Challa
They should not. Yeah,
they're gonna give T'Challa some outing of some sorts. And
my biggest question about this next film is how are they going to write him out? Because you know you have
because
to you have to write him out of the story, but you can't make it a throwaway because then you don't really honor Chadwick by doing that. It can't just be a throwaway thing. You have to really honor him, and you have to write him out creatively. You have to serve the story, you know.
If I don't leave that movie theater crying, you did something wrong. That's all I gotta
and
say.
They're gonna
gotta hold some weight to the gun.
They're gonna dedicate it to him. It's gonna be a whole, it's gonna be a big deal. So I'm very excited for that. And then of course they threw in a Fantastic Four little teaser at the end. Like I feel like that was Kevin Feige's way of being like, it's coming, like chill, because everybody is like Fantastic Four and X-Men. Where are they? Give it to us right now. And they're like, all right, it's Fantastic Four is coming. Like chill. We know you want it. It's coming. Just wait.
But they didn't say Fantastic Four. It just looked like the Fantastic Four symbol. But what if instead, because the way it was formatted, what if it was another Captain America movie? Because they were in talks with him.
No.
Yeah.
That was the same Fantastic Four logo they showed.
It was like
at Disney Investor Day.
And then they're gonna tilt it.
No.
And then the circle is gonna be the shield.
No. 100%. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed if they do that. No. That was the same blue Fantastic Four symbol that they showed back at episode 1. This is going back to our first episode territory. I don't know. I hope it's Fantastic Four. I see what you're saying, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Whatever.
I'm just so confused why, because that's not coming out to like 2022, right?
What?
Why would that
Fantastic Four? Oh, Fantastic Four is probably going to be like late 2023, early 2024. I mean, they're still. I don't think they even have a director tapped for that yet. I mean, like they probably still have a script.
Phase 4 by 3
or like don't even have a script. I mean, I think. Well, look at the first 3. It was 10 years.
Yeah,
I mean, we're only like this is. Think about that, man. This is still like the start of the next phase after Endgame. We're not even done with the next phase after Endgame. Like we're at the beginning of that. I mean, it's gonna be like another decade.
Holy hell, man!
I know.
Jeez,
we have at least another decade of the podcast. We have at least another decade of the show to go.
My God, we're gonna be 30.
That's fine. I'm down. I'm good with it. I'm down. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. So I also wanted to show you this specifically because it's not even a big piece of news. It's just a little thing, little tidbit, little tidbit, little circle, little something.
Okay.
So you know how, but prior to Godzilla vs. Kong's release, we started to get the toys were surfacing in Walmart and Target and all those places, and it was like, okay, well here's Mechagodzilla. You want to know what he looks like? Here he is.
Yeah.
We've started to get toys for Venom Let There Be Carnage already on the Walmart website, on Target's website, I believe, online, even in stores some. And again, we're still awaiting a trailer for Venom Let There Be Carnage, or really even any kind of marketing. These toys, these are not the official action figures, they're Lego sets. So let me pull this up. It's the Lego set. Yeah. Let me wrong article.
That's a weird Lego set.
So here is, let me move us here. Here's the Lego set. Let me enlarge this. So we have
Batman's in the movie?
There's a Batman.
Batman's in the movie?
So this could potentially be our first look at Carnage in Venom Let There Be Carnage.
He looks a little boxy. He looks a little pixelated, let's be honest.
You think?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Okay,
It's a fucking Lego.
I
I'm
was
just
gonna be.
saying.
I was like, to be fair, it is a freaking Lego set.
Yeah, it's a
So,
joke. It's a
um,
yoke. I like it.
I do too.
Mhm.
I hope, and I was kind of thinking about this. I hope they go with that real crimson red, like
Mhm.
like this color red. I hope he's actually that red. Like I don't want to see a dark Carnage. Like I want to see he needs to be red, like a
Mhm.
huge contrast to Venom. He needs to be a big contrast to Venom.
Yeah, each
Uh,
symbiote has a certain type of personality, and they have to be distinct.
yeah, and I've seen a few people on Facebook and things like that, like, oh, those aren't from the movie. But look at the font. Look at the I don't know. It looks like Venom. I mean, it looks like the Venom from the movie.
Hmm.
So
And well, the font, the title font of it on the box, obviously shows that it's actually a part of the movie. Like it's not just something that they
yeah,
just
I
made
know.
for
Yeah,
toys,
for
but
sure,
it's
for
actually a
sure.
movie toy right there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But
Um,
I'm interested to see how it all plans out because if they're shooting out toys now, I mean, at this point, we're going to be able to make our own like solid predictions as to what happens in the movie. Because
I hope
most of these toys spoil things. I mean, if you look at Star Wars,
they
Godzilla,
do. Yeah,
all these other movies that when they have toy releases, most of them we get spoilers from the toys, pretty much.
yeah. Well,
So,
even for Endgame, do you remember there was the it was a toy of the Hulk
I
with
feel
the
like the
gauntlet on
gauntlet,
and stuff
yeah.
like it was like the Hulk with the gauntlet on, like
Hmm.
stuff like that. Like
It's
they
like where was your marketing team for that?
I
Like,
know, like
who
I
shot the
kind of
gun
don't
for that?
understand. Like, did someone get fired over this? like you
Yeah,
just get like Mecha Godzilla, dude. People had seen Mecha Godzilla like 3 months before the movie ever dropped. Like,
yeah. Before they
before it
even
even
made the
dropped in
announcement.
China, like overseas.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Which, actually, China hasn't seen. It hasn't been released yet in China. Did you know
China
that?
or Japan, one of them. One of them it's
Yeah,
been released, but one of the others it hasn't. I don't know.
that's right. That's interesting to know because that
Yeah,
means the numbers are still gonna rise.
yeah,
So can't wait.
that's true. So we're gonna continue with our Spider-Man news here. Uh, this was originally reported by Mike Sutton at Geekosity. Um, and this has to do with the future of Spider-Man in the MCU.
Hmm.
And from we talked about this in episode 2. From many of the leaks and many of the reports that have come out from industry insiders, it really seems like moving forward, Disney and Sony are off of their rocky start, and they are really, really going to push this Spider-Man universe, and that this Spider-Man universe is going to be a big part of the MCU. So Mikey Sutton reported that in the College Years trilogy, possibly the first film of that College Years trilogy, as we talked about in episode 2, Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be the finale of the high school trilogy, and then Tom Holland will sign on for a College Years trilogy and an adult trilogy,
Hmm.
where maybe then we'll transition to Miles Morales. We'll be in phase like 2049 by then of the MCU. So it was a report that John Bernthal as the Punisher is supposed to star and face off against Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the College Years trilogy.
Mm. Mm.
Woo!
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Hmm.
I'm down for that. I think I love Tom Jane as the Punisher. I think his movie was great. But John Bernthal killed it. He killed the game as the Punisher.
He did.
Because
I mean,
even as Shane in The Walking Dead, like he comes off as one of those people who just doesn't care. Like, don't get in my way. And that's how the Punisher needs to be.
absolutely. And there was a hot take whether or not he should have been the Punisher. Granted, he did great, but golly, imagine him being cast as Wolverine too.
John
He has
Bernthal?
the aneurysm. Yeah,
Yeah,
he has a mannerism of him.
I think I would like to see him as the Punisher more though,
Hmm.
if I
I
had
hear
to
you.
take my pick. Mikey also reported that kind of contrast to what we've had, because we've had dark moments, we've had emotional moments, but these last three, well, really, I mean, No Way Home isn't released yet, so we don't know how dark it's going to be, but they've been more lighthearted. They've been kind of a childlike, Toby Maguire, um, Peter Parker. That's I don't know what I'm talking about. Peter Parker kind of
Tom Holland.
he still has that childlike innocence to him in terms of the
Mhm.
character. Mikey reported that the college trilogy is going to be much darker because they're going to incorporate characters like Venom and Kingpin and the Punisher, Norman Osborn, which we've heard Norman Osborn is supposed to be a part of No Way Home as well. So what do you think of a darker trilogy? If we've had the high school trilogy, we've seen him in high school, and now we're kind of moving on, and it's going to evolve a little bit into something a little bit darker, a little bit more serious, and we're kind of going to have a bigger Spider-Man universe.
I like it.
I like it too. I think
Yeah.
they need to go there.
There's not much I can think of other than bravo, because that's a
Yeah,
beautiful plan.
I think they
To
need to go there, especially with Spider-Man.
mhm. Plus Tom Holland's still young. He's about our age.
Oh yeah, he's got
And
a lot of life left in him
yeah,
I mean, obviously, yeah, he's young, literally as a human being, but I mean, also as Spider-Man. Um, I think he's got a lot of time left as Spider-Man.
yeah.
So
He's gonna have the longest contract ever,
he
pretty
will.
much.
He might outdo to RDJ.
10 years. Yeah, he's gonna be here for much
But I mean,
longer.
like in terms of like the number of appearances in movies, I think he'll outdo RDJ.
Maybe. I'm not sure about that yet, but
He also reported that Daredevil, as in Charlie Cox's
Cox.
Daredevil, will be a crucial part of the college years trilogy.
Mm,
That
mm.
Daredevil will have a role with Kingpin and with the Punisher and with all of that stuff, and that they
I
will
like
tie
that.
in
You know,
the TV shows.
yeah. I think putting Spider-Man with all of the Defenders is actually pretty cool, because
Yeah,
obviously he's from New York, and
yeah.
it made you think it made you think, like, where was Spider-Man during all of those events of the Defenders?
You mean like
Like,
the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like you have all of these characters that are based in New York, so
Yeah,
you have to put them in at some point, which makes me think most of these movies now are gonna have small cameos of superheroes.
probably, and they
Yeah,
should,
that's pretty
because
much how it's going to end up. Like,
like we've talked about like we talked about in episode 20 in our Falcon and the Winter Soldier review. I At some point it's going to start to feel strange
mhm.
if they're not in it. Like
Yep.
it's gonna feel like, why aren't they there? And I mean, I kind of felt that way about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale. I mean, you have this whole crazy level event of all of these people fighting, and Spider-Man would have been there. Like, he would have been like, I need to be there right now, and he would
Mhm.
have been a part of that fight, to take down Carly and all. I mean, he would have been a part of that. So yeah, I think they're going to be pretty big crossover events, and again, as they should be. I mean, if they have to be,
Mhm.
even more so than what we've seen so far. So, couple more pieces of Spider-Man news, man. We've had a lot of Spider-Man news lately, which is cool. You know how they do the children's books? They do like the children's books based on the movies and things like that. Like they
Sure.
had there's one called Night Night Groot, and it's an animated thing. They had one called Beware the Flurkin, Captain Marvel thing. Well, they
Yeah.
had one, Spider-Man Swings Through Europe, I believe is what it was called. Um, the children's book has went live on Amazon to pre-order it for No Way Home, and it is titled No Way Home: Spider-Man's Very Strange Day.
What?
I think that the word strange
Oh, okay. Oh,
has been put
all
in
right.
there on purpose.
Yeah.
Now, I could be reading way too far into this. I really could be. I don't know. But here's the plot description for the book. Reads, Spider-Man's very strange day will take Spider-Man and his friends to a whole new location, one packed full of mystery and magic waiting to be explored. So do you think that's a multiverse hint?
It's a Doctor Strange hint. I don't know about a multiverse.
It is a Doctor Strange hint. I don't know. It's something small, and I'm probably overthinking it. And if you're watching on YouTube, tell us in the comments if you think I'm stupid for saying that. Please tell me. But I just think it's kind of interesting. I think I don't know. It's interesting that they used very strange day, like especially since Doctor Strange is rumored to have kind of a critical role in this next movie.
Yeah, pretty much. So
okay. Speaking of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
So last thing I have, Andrew Garfield. He was on the newest episode of Happy, Sad, Confused with John Horowitz, I believe is his name. And let me say this. He is either seriously playing the game with hiding this, or he is wholeheartedly not in the movie. Like, he is not a part of No Way Home. So I wanted you to watch this interview, Miguel, and it's pretty short. It's only about a minute or so long. But let's see. So this is the latest episode of Happy, Sad, Confused. And again, Andrew Garfield was on it, and he claims that he has nothing to do with Spider-Man No Way Home. Nothing. So let's take a listen to this, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Okay? All right. Here we go.
I don't know how to bring up the Spider-Man stuff because obviously I don't even want to like ruin anything if there is something to ruin, except to
there isn't anything to ruin, bro. I have to quickly cut you off. There's nothing to ruin.
Really?
Like it's so crazy to
it's just gotten out of hand. This is all bullshit,
dude. It's fucking hilarious to me because it's like because I do have this Twitter account and I see like how often like Spider-Man is trending and it's like people freaking out about a thing, and I'm just like, guys, like,
oh, no.
I wish I could just like be able to speak to everyone and say like,
why don't you?
How do you just take off? Because you are.
I recommend that you chill. Like
that's an actor right there.
I can't speak for anything else apart from myself.
Sure.
Like they might be doing something, but then ain't none. Like I ain't got a call. So like.
I don't know.
Well, that makes my life easier. Okay, no, that's good. That's unequivocal.
You know what it feels like though? It feels like, because this hasn't come up yet in an interview, but like
he's so full of shit. He's in
the
movie, man. I'm sorry, Andrew, but you were in the movie.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know that game? I think it's kind of similar, where it's like you're convincing everyone that you're not in the mafia.
Right.
Like I feel like I'm in a game of fucking werewolf or mafia, where I'm like, I'm not the werewolf. I promise you, I am not the werewolf. And everyone's like, you're the werewolf. You're the fucking werewolf. Look at him. He's like, he's doing.
Okay, so for the record, my friend, on a stack of whatever you have there, you are not, as of this taping, in or have any knowledge of being in the next Spider-Man movie.
I feel like I
feel. He didn't say no. He didn't say no.
You have. I just want to get really clear. No. This is the unequivocal yes/no answer.
I did not get a call.
Maybe they shot you guerrilla style, like in Mainstream on the street.
In Mainstream. Listen. I would have gotten a call by now. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Pause this. Hold on.
Look, I don't want to rule anything out. Maybe they want to call me. Maybe they're gonna call me like and say like, hey.
Hold on.
Did you see the interviewer,
bro?
He went. I was like, yeah.
The movie's done filming. They're not gonna call you at this point.
Yeah.
So. Oh my God! He goes through the whole thing, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not in the movie. What are you talking about? I'm not in the movie." And then he's like, Josh or John or whatever his name is, he's like, "So just to be clear, are you in the movie?" And he's like, "No."
Right there. Yeah. It's like
I thought it was hilarious. The first time I watched it, I was like, "Dude, you are lying through your teeth." And I know he has to. I mean, like, what's he gonna be like? Yep.
Yeah, you can't do that. Obviously, he doesn't want to pull a Tom Holland.
He's not going to be like, yeah, Toby and I were on the set for the whole time. Like we're there. We're a huge part of it. Like what do you want him to say? I think his I thought his whole description was hilarious. I was laughing my butt off when I first watched it.
This man was literally on top of the bush. He was just being around the bush.
I was cracking up.
Everything he can not to spoil it. And honestly, that was hilarious.
He said when he was like, when he said, so just for the record, the final word on a stack of whatever you have, you're not a part of the next Spider-Man movie. And when Tom said that, he was like, he was like, he pulled a,
But he didn't say no.
He didn't say no. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say, dude, it is.
It's like,
I'll say this.
I don't know what to say about it.
If Toby and Andrew are really not in Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm going to be disappointed. Like, it's going to be disappointing to have them not be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like they know how much of an uproar there would be if they're not in it. I don't know if they have to be. Like, it has to be. There's no other way here. So I thought that was really funny. I wanted you to watch that and I wanted to get your thoughts.
I'm glad I saw it because that's total horse crap right there.
He was like, sometimes I just want to hop on Twitter and be like, or on Instagram, whatever, and be like, you guys are wrong. I'm not in the movie. And I was like, then why don't you? Like, then like, put your money where your mouth is, man. If you're not in the movie, say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he can't say it. It's just, it's funny. The speculation and the build up to it is really funny. So I don't know. I mean, it's all literally Sony's Latin American account gave it away. They literally gave it away in December when they posted that trailer and that picture that got taken down about your Christmas present, you get all 3 Spider-Man in one movie or whatever. I mean, like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's
gonna happen. It's gonna be.
I'm just surprised no one's fucking interviewing Tobey Maguire for this.
I wanted the same thing because like Andrew Garfield has denied it a few times, but man, Tobey Maguire, like, we haven't heard anything from him. Like, there's been nothing from Tobey Maguire at all. So he's not very active on social media either. I mean, his Twitter, like I looked at his Twitter at one point and his last tweet was from like 2015. Like he hasn't been on Twitter in like quite a while.
It was probably him ranting about Spider-Man 4.
No, I mean it was like a retweet of something. Like, I don't even know. But I think it's funny. I think that the constant denial and the constant speculation is really, really funny.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
But guys, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Let's Talk Movie News. Thank you so much for sticking around with us and for talking movie news with us. Please keep the conversation going in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. What did you think of this week's movie news? What stuck out at you? What do you think is really important or what means something to you? If you're listening on Spotify, please tweet at us at We Talk the Movies. Let us know what you thought. And we will be back this Monday for episode 21 of our other show, Let's Talk Movies. And obviously the next episode of Let's Talk Movie News will drop next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on YouTube in video form. We're on all the major podcast platforms in audio form. And we just want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to us. We will have some more content as we move into the summer and as we transition out of school. And we're really excited for all that stuff. So again, thank you so much. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Peace out. The Spider-Verse is going to happen. I'm telling you right now.